Thank you.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach, and I welcome the opportunity to contribute to this. I think it's 8.5 minutes, yeah.
Yes.
Minister, first of all, can I congratulate you for the work and effort that you did, yourself and the team, the Irish team, in relation to progressing the issue of loss and damage, which I think is a very positive, very significant aspect to the negotiations. And I think, you know, it is imperative now that we're seen to actually deliver on that, that it's not just governments that deliver on it, but the big polluters out there, the oil industry, the airline industry, also deliver on it. But I think there's a misconception out there among the public that what happens at COP is in relation to the implementation of targets. And all that is happening is we're negotiating targets and reviewing the targets that are already set. But we here in Ireland and right across Europe and across the globe need to start focusing on implementing this legislation and these targets, rather than just talking about the targets themselves. And I think that is something that I find hugely frustrating. We've set ourselves a target here in this country of reducing our overall emissions between now and 2030 by a further 48%. And that is a monumental task that we've set ourselves over the next 8 years. And we really need to focus on the implementation. And we'll give credit to you, Minister. During your contribution when you visited my own hometown of Athlone at the weekend, you made that very point, outlining the type of measures that need to take place. But we do need to drive innovation if we're going to actually achieve that. And that innovation needs to see long-term investment in terms of research, and Science Foundation Ireland are now involved in that. And that will hopefully bring about solutions post-2030. But we do need to look at very practical, implementable solutions in the short term between now and 2030. And I'm going to put 3 of those to you, Minister. 3 of them that are within the remit of the Green Party and government. The first one of those, Minister, is in the whole area of air quality. And as you know, the warmth and wellbeing pilot that I launched back in 2016 had to target people in fuel poverty with chronic respiratory disease has been found to be a phenomenal success. As a result of research that was presented here in the Oireachtas 2 weeks ago, research that was independently produced by the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, it has shown where we carry out deep retrofits of homes of people with respiratory diseases in fuel poverty, that those people end up attending their GP less, attending emergency departments less, require less use of hospital services, use less prescribed drugs, which is a win-win for our climate, a win for our health services, and a win for the people with these chronic illnesses. But if we're going to capitalise on that, then we need to invest in the retrofitting of the homes of people in fuel poverty and the homes of people with chronic respiratory diseases. Now, as you know, there is no scheme to invest in the homes of people with chronic respiratory diseases, but there is a commitment to deliver retrofitting for homes of people in fuel poverty. The difficulty is that it is taking nearly 3 years at the moment to carry out the retrofitting where people have submitted an application for that. And that, Minister, is far too slow. We need to prioritise the retrofitting of homes, particularly those in fuel poverty. The second area I want to touch on is the whole area of land use and land use change. And as you know, we've set a target within the agricultural sector of reducing emissions by 25% between now and 2030. And while there is plenty of people out there willing to kick farmers and the agricultural community there's very little carrot being doled out to the agricultural sector. And one area where we could have a win-win situation is in terms of encouraging farmers to sequester carbon and actually be rewarded for it. And the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has pointed out that mitigating greenhouse gases alone will not get us to net zero. So we need to increase our carbon stocks in our soils, in our hedges and in our trees. But to do that, Minister, we actually have to measure the carbon that is already there. We need a reporting and a verification process. And our colleagues in Northern Ireland have already started to roll that out, field by field, hedge by hedge. But we're not doing it here. All we've decided to do is to pick 20 pilot locations around the country. And sadly, even the pilot locations we have picked are 8 inches too short. Because in order to meet the internationally verified specification for soil carbon, you have to go 30 centimetres into the ground. Our pilots are only going 10 centimetres into the ground, so we cannot even use the evidence that we're producing here to put a baseline in place. We should be replicating what is being done in Northern Ireland, do a complete assessment of soil carbon right across the country in every single field, and incentivise farmers to increase the content of the carbon in our soils, in our hedges and in our forests across this country. The final point I want to make to you, Minister, is in relation to broadband. And as you know, the National Broadband Plan is now being rolled out across the country, delivering high-speed broadband to 37% of our population in the most isolated rural locations in this country. And it has the potential to dramatically reduce our transport emissions if we can encourage people either to work from home or to work in the digital hubs that are being constructed around the country. We've already delivered 300 of those hubs around the country. And we need to put a proactive approach in place to engage with employers to use those hubs. The other thing that we need to do, Minister, is by the end of next year, we will have, by the middle of next year, we'll have 30,000 homes where there will be fibre cable outside their doors. As a result of that, the wireless antennae, where people have been availing of wireless technology up to now, they will be decommissioned. And I want to see you recycle that equipment and redeploy that equipment to more isolated rural areas, providing those people with wireless broadband technology pending the delivery of the fibre solution. And the only way to achieve that, I believe, is to give them publicly owned sites free of charge to those wireless companies to deploy that technology. Now, I put this to you already, Minister. You've said to me that you're going to look at the proposal. We need to start seeing delivery on that. Thank you.